Well, hello. It's been some time, hasn't it? Well, I'm glad you're here. I'll just spend a few moments waiting for things to fill up. Then we'll know what's going on, right? Am I not actually recording? No, I'm streaming. Okay. Just need to make sure. I only have one monitor, so. Not for long, by the way. There is a new one coming, but it may take a little while before it's here. I should figure out a means of making it possible for me to listen to my own voice while streaming without it showing up on the recording. Or in the stream for that matter. Why is my face set like that? Okay, I can move it about now. Is it going to get back into a fixed position when I minimize this? No, it looks fine. Kinda wish I had chat in here. No? No, yeah, okay. Looks okay. Waiting for I don't know. I guess I'll be fine to open Stream Manager now. Probably. I would hope so. Okay, well, I was working on ESLint up to this point. If you follow my Twitter, you probably are aware of that. So much to configure, like, oh no, that takes forever. I was not ready for that, quite frankly. Also not quite ready for actual streaming. Like I said, I only have one monitor. So I won't be able to both check out my live. Actually, maybe I can. Let me try something for that. Should be able to use it then. Gladly, thanks. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm back now. Let's see if I can sign in on Twitch. Well, I don't even really need to be signed in, do I? Audio should be off, right? Yeah, it's in silent mode. Okay. Let's not accept cookies. And then just look for Scrap Stream. Now, there we go. Actually shows. Lovely. Okay, so I don't know if I'm frozen again or if it's just not streaming properly. I think there is something wrong again with the face tracking. And then I open it and then it's all good. What's the process priority here? Or maybe I'm just overloading? Doesn't look like it. Spotify widgets. Suspended processes to improve system performance. Sure. Fine. I don't mind. Okay, so increase process priority. So it should be able to keep up. If it doesn't, I will probably need to change something in OBS, for which I would need to essentially just cancel the whole stream. Okay, we have a bunch of things here. And I will look into a bunch of these items later. I can convert these to issues now, actually. API. I don't know why. Wait, no, that is... that's wrong. Wait. Delete from project. No. I need to move it from that. Archive, show all fields. I can't change the repository. Weird. Why would you not be able to? Okay. Yeah, looks like I have some severe issues in terms of my face not being recognized. Face tracking is on. Everything is on. I don't know what's going on. I also don't know if I'm actually loud enough or not. Taking a look at OBS, I should be alright. I hope. It goes up and it goes down, as you can see. Not much else to mention there, by the way. I don't know. I don't know what I can do about that. But either way, I am supposed to go ahead and just... Wait, is the problem that I minimized this? Let's put it on full screen. Okay, lower the camera ever so slightly. Yeah, okay, maybe even more. Okay, that looks a whole lot better. Okay. Debugging of the things aside, let me put myself into the small corner here. I believe that's this hotkey. Let me verify I've done that properly. I will just duplicate this ticket. Copy link archive. Can I not duplicate this? Close is not planned. What? Why not just allow me to change the repository? I don't understand. Okay, looks like I've got the settings correct, so we can move on with that. GitHub change repository for project item. Changing project repository. You can update the remote URL. That's not what I mean. Renaming about project. And then managing items. Converting draft. Okay, convert to issue. Select the repository. Yes. But why not make it possible to change? That's so weird. I'll just delete it then. Fine. You win. Web. Okay. I'll continue to do this real quick. Just making sure that I'm not making any mistakes this time. And this is a database thing, so I suppose that goes for the API. Register host also for... no, I guess that would go for the web. Tickets overview is definitely a web thing. I did add a lot of things for the web here, by the way. Ability to remove tickets is also a web stuff. Okay, looks good. 1, 2, 3. I'll put you back up there then. Why would you be number? I don't understand this naming these numbers. That's no problem though. Okay, so I am working on adding ESLint. I'll just quickly change branch and put what I've got so far. Actually no, let me just commit what I've got so far, at least part of it. Because I can, basically. Settings.json? Aren't you supposed... You are in VS Code. How interesting. I don't know if I want to set this. I am definitely not sure. TypeScript TSDK. I don't know if... Did I set that? I don't think so. I suppose this one should be fine just going like that. Okay. Back to changes. ESLint config. We'll leave it as is. I suppose I never pushed that. What? We'll need this one. Stage. I will be leaving these few for now because they have to do with ESLint and this commit does not involve ESLint. So converted to Node 16 modules. Okay, that's one. I will essentially just stash this. How do I stash? No, wait. Git stash. Why are these two things not... Git stash dash dash help? Okay, I was not expecting that. What about git stash apply? Your branch is ahead. Okay, yeah, I'm not too familiar with Git, to be honest. I'll stage everything. Git stash. And that is stashed. Git push. Okay, so I don't know if this is going to update because right now there's no ESLint stuff, so I don't know why it's still marking that. Maybe I should just restart the server or something. There's nothing for it to check as there's no configurations, right? So based on that logic, yes, okay, perfect. I will temporarily disable this extension until I'm ready to use it again. That'll be even better. It does show that it needs to reload. Oh, okay. Certainly. Why not? So, what is the first thing we need to do? Well, initialize web client. I'm skipping on that for now. I haven't had the time yet to actually properly initialize things. Look at that. Discord has already been updated on me being live. Just about 4 minutes ago. That's beautiful. That's like 10 minutes too late. Well, 5 minutes too late, more like. That's pretty good. I remember when it was about 50 minutes. Okay, so we have a controller, a module, and services. The services are basically what is the response. And I have a lot to learn still about Nest.js. I'll be completely honest about that. But we can definitely get started putting in some paths here. So let's make some items. Create endpoint. I will just copy paste this and post column, put column, get columns. Not the ability to obtain a specific one. I think all of them at once and that's all. Okay, columns are fine. I will also need to start putting things in I should document things, which I will need to install a program for, which I currently obviously don't have. So, yeah. Looks like my head still moves. Okay, I'm glad. Seems minimizing VC face is the problem mostly. Okay, create endpoint, post, put, and get. Obviously also needs a delete column. Add the ability to remove tickets, which means endpoint. Do I want it column/ticket or how do I want that? I think I want to put most of the information in JSON. At the office we tend to use the URL for identifiers and stuff, similar to what you see up here. Project 6 is the identifier 6 for all my projects essentially. Views 1, the first view. If I switch to this one, it goes to 2, obviously. Yeah, I don't think I want to do it like that necessarily. Then again, I could if I wanted to. It is not wrong. Tickets are always only in columns? Or will it always, or is it its own entity? I would say for now at least, put it in column. So post column idea ticket. And I'll just copy paste that as well. Put for updates, get all the tickets, and then naturally delete basic CRUD. Also a default for this. Oh right, I forgot that is still in caps lock. Wait, let me update that. Okay, perfect. Much better. So I have all these endpoints, columns, and tickets. And that's the basic feature, right? You look at GitHub's backlog, literally this list, and these are the items you see. There's also a bunch of other, well, essentially sublists. This is just a filter to me. So that's alright. We don't need to worry about that. I would like to improve the folder structure here as well. I've named it API for now, but I'm not entirely certain if I like that name. Like you would have API, logic, and data access or something like that. Maybe extern. I don't know. Folder names are quite a something. Folder names, 3-layer structure. Recommendations on file and folder naming. Okay, what have you got? Keep it simple, budgets. Um, no, this is not. This is not what I'm looking for. How to organize your data lake. Okay. Hmm. Uh, Programming. File structure. Harvard. Who wrote this? Okay. How to iterate through a directory tree? How should I organize my source tree? Yeah, that's my question as well. What have you got? Presentation, logic, storage, and util. Yeah, util makes sense. We don't currently have a util place yet, but it does make a lot of sense to have that. I don't like the name presentation. Present a web service interface to a business logic. Web service would be alright, because we use services and the controllers are basic listeners, which then receive those services. So maybe I will rename this to services. Yes, always. Just manually decide. That's usually better anyway. Okay, so we have services. We'll get logic. I tend to name it core though. I prefer core over logic. Although it's whichever one you prefer is fine, by the way. I'm not here to hate on you or anything. Storage. And instead of core, I think I will name it features. Okay, we have features, we have services. Services is so vague. Storage is fine. Storage can beat storage. Because it's basically just... no, because I use this layer also for external communication with other servers and stuff. Integrations, no. Data management, data center, data control, folder names, I'm telling you. What to name a folder? So features make sense to me, that's fine. It could also be core/features, by the way. We'll see. Data management, data, just data, data access, data core, data communications. No. Communications is also not my... No, I don't feel like it should be that. Data management. For now. Just for now. Until I've decided what to actually call it. Center. Data center. External. How do you call... delegate? Repository? No. DAL. Data access layer, for those who don't know. Data access. I'll just call it data access. I'm out of ideas. I feel like services is perfect though. API would also fit, given that it's literally an API, but you know, no need for complications. Okay, so node env. I remember Node had a port, Node port number. How to get the server's port, server.listen. In Express? No, there was a thing in Node. How to get a port number in Node.js. Isn't this the same thing? I think it's the same thing. Fine. Useless. I'll come up with something else then. Okay, let's see. What am I going to come up with? That's a good one. Oh, wait, listen. Yeah. I remember there was .env. Should I install that? I don't know. Maybe. .env. .env, maybe. I don't know. Process.env. Port, maybe? Yeah, okay. I'll install .env. You win. What's the name? .env npm. Oh, okay, that's the name. Should this be... Okay, last published 4 months ago. That's perfect. Zero dependency module that loads environment variables from a .env into process.env. Yeah. Build passing, build failing. What? Code style standard? Conventional comment? Featured on open. I don't even know what that all is. It just says -- save. So if I do that, where does it end up in package JSON? Yeah, as I figured, a regular dependency. It shouldn't be anything else anyway. As early as possible in your application, import and configure .env. Require .env.config. Okay, that would be in main, I believe. Import everything as .env from .env, yes. .env.config. It says that's plenty. We'll see. Okay. Multi-line values. Yeah. No. No need. Comments. Oh, this is the .env file itself. Okay. Parsing. Engine which parses the contents of your file containing environment variables available to use. Preload. By doing this, you do not need to require and load .env in your application. Okay. So, can I add this to... Oh, hey, thanks for joining in chat. I wasn't expecting anyone. I'm basically up and coming, so... Yeah. Only if you have secrets, yeah, indeed. That's when you use that stuff. But I currently don't have anything. Not in my application anyway. I might later. I don't know. I'm a single developer just starting a new project essentially. This is like my second programming stream, and in the first one all I did was just manage to get Nest.js working. Which I honestly learned a lot from, by the way. Not to mention there's also a bunch of configurations things that I've done. Yeah. There's like a ton of things. I did go over the entire TS config options list, by the way, in case you're wondering like why this all is here. I prefer to keep things categorized so that I can find things a little bit easier. But that's all, essentially. Originally, by the way, I also would be releasing these live streams on YouTube, but I'm not sure if I should live stream the programming streams as well. They're not that interesting, are they? But, well, I do my best, of course. I need a .env file, which needs to be added to the gitignore, which I think I can do like this. No? How do I add something to the gitignore? Via command. Doesn't seem to say really. Start a working area, examine history and state. I suppose I'll just edit manually, that's fine. Project, dist and .env, which should now be ignored. Okay. Port equals, no wait. Port, is that plenty? Is that going to be sufficient? Do you have any examples? I do not. Okay, use .env in TypeScript. Using .env with various frameworks, languages and configurations. TypeScript. .env TypeScript. npx ts node index.ts. Edit .env file to see what? I'm supposed to download this, haven't I? Yeah, it's not gonna happen. I'm sorry. But there's a bunch of listed things here. TypeScript config. I don't even know what it is. TypeScript parse. What is TypeScript parse? But it doesn't even. It's the same example, isn't it? I suppose the parse is in here then. Basic. Yeah, okay. That's what it is. In that case, no reason for me to worry about things. Back to this. A terminal, okay. A retool. But custom internal software like HUD apps and admin panels. Yeah. I can make something much better than that. But probably just boasting. I have no idea how they made it. That's fine. Use .env vault. Okay, that gets interesting. Sync .env files. Stop sharing them over insecure channels like Slack and email. Okay. Is this like an application or something, or? I don't know. Usage is similar to Git. Login. It is like an okay, I see. Yeah, I don't really care. I'm just a single person. Wait, what was this? Endpoints. Goes on to the API then. obviously. Now, there's a lot of endpoints. Although it's not that many, if you think about it. I'm sure it's okay. Just need to manually add them one after another, because I don't seem to have tick boxes. Even though on the website early, when I checked it out, it was saying something about tick boxes. I don't understand, but it's nothing to worry about. So these are new items. Register host is probably a backlog thing though. Because I can probably already get started on that. So maybe I should put it in ready even. Right there. Maybe at the top. Let's put it at the top. Yes. Okay. Add ESLint, configure TypeScript, configure npm. Configure prettier? Maybe. Maybe not. That's just a lot of putting things, isn't it? Don't worry about it. I wouldn't anyway, not if I were you. Oh, looks like always Punny has already left. That's a shame. Nothing to worry about though. It's not like I'm doing this for anyone else. In fact, I don't even have a Kickstarter for this. Maybe I could. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't. We'll see. Lots and lots of things that I could do to finance this project a bit. Make things easier for myself. Okay, and then process.env dot no. Just like this. Okay. I will log process. Yes, okay. Perfect. And then I will temporarily remove this and then I'll just take a look and see how it is. Okay. Let's build the project just quickly to have the code run. Do you have a port? You do not? You do. Okay. Well, if there's a port, then that means I can refer to that. Perfect. Okay. I will need a file that checks if the port exists, which I don't want to do here. No, yes, I do want to do it here. Is this going to be a utility file though? I don't actually think so. It is going to be part of main. So, yeah. App maintenance stuff in this case. Process.ts. Process, oh wait, file name consistency, manager. Export function is in process string name. Wait, what's going on? Why can't I? Alright, because it's like this. Syntax is important. Okay, and then just I don't need a reference to process actually. Okay. Returns a boolean. Is in process. Is in env is probably a better name. And then I could probably make it a bit more effective though. Because I need to know the typing things. Is it smart enough? If not is in env port. Vrouw. Right. It's named error here. Language stuff. Gotta keep it in mind, of course. Okay, throw error. Could not obtain port. And it still says it doesn't know if it's string or undefined. It should consider it a string. So I definitely need the number thing converted to a number, which I does that throw JavaScript fiddle JS. Does number throw a error? Right. Obviously I need to log what I'm doing. Okay. It returns none. I see. Okay. This could be none then. I will need to check for that. Process manager. Export function. Get port. Returns number. And then we just say const port equals process.env port. If port is not undefined and port is not an empty string. Actually, if it is, then I want to throw an error, right? Okay. If port is valid, I should probably have this be an OR. Thanks, typing information, you told me. Converted port equals number. Yeah. And then if number is none, I will need to add some proper validation later, but for now this will do. Bunch of errors, which reminds me that I need to add a folder errors. And I will make a generic own style error, which, given that the project currently is named Mia Tickets and the other project is Mia grams, Maya grams. I'll just name it Maya error. I think. No, just base error. Actually, no. Everything just inherits straight from error. Okay, never mind that for now. I would like to have a process error. Which constructor optional message and then super message or occurred during the process. It's a very generic error. Always put in a generic thing as a catch-all, basically. Okay, and now we're going to convert this to process error and this one to process error. And I just realized I need a paths thing in tsconfig. tsconfig paths. There we go. tsconfig paths is in modules? Really? I suppose it is. Sure. Just load it back in there again. Okay, it's in modules. I wasn't expecting that. Right. Okay. And errors. Wait. Errors. Needs to be an array. And this just leads to src / errors. Refers to everything in there. Which should mean it picks this up. Scrap, reps, my ticket, source errors. Yes, okay, it picks it up properly. Good. I have decided to replace this. Const port equals get port. Perfect. And that just returns the port that I need, which does not need to be converted to a number anymore. Alright, look at that. I do wish to sort this. So I will get to the ESLint rules there eventually. Probably. I suppose. Alright. Here we go. All of my private data is leaked now. Oh no. I honestly wonder if there's anything in here that I don't want you guys to see. But by the looks of it, it's all good. That is how I tried to register things anyway, so we should be alright. Okay, we've introduced the ability to get the port dynamically. Perfect. What's next? Commit, of course. We added .env, so with that we'll just need to manually add it. I don't think I would want to add that yet. Is this standalone enough? Probably. Added .env package. And then we can just go with all these other changes. Why is this deleted? Oh, right, folder renames. In that, if it's a folder rename, that's the change here, then I am not going to add it. Which means I will unstage this. I will need to unstage this as well. Actually, it's reverting it, but I don't understand. Unstage. No, it's not reverting it. Never mind, I'm dumb. Okay, .env, yes. .env config, yes. Needs an empty line here. I can't add it. Add an extra line, which I should be able to stage. Save it. And then take a look here. Okay, yeah. Empty line is added, that's good. It does say that app module was removed though, so looks like I'll have to go and add everything manually right away. Yeah, unless I undo these changes for now. Can I stage you? And then see what it does. Okay, so that's a folder rename here, right? So, unstage? And then it's like, hey, nothing changed on that line. How nice. Okay, let's see, what have we got? We have added paths, which is good because we want that. We've added .env, we've added getPort, which means getPort should also be staged. And then the only thing that's not staged is the change of where app module is. Anything in here? Yes, I want to add these two new files, and these don't know about it, so that's okay. Process error might get renamed later. I haven't really given it much thought, to be honest. Okay, added port to env. That should be plenty for the file name. Okay. Renamed folder API to services. Is services the name that we want to stick with? I think so. Because I don't want to name it something dull like front. So services it is then. Services is so vague. We need a clear name that speaks volume, that clearly says this is web API stuff. Your messages arrive in here. Should I just call it server? Servlet? I am telling you, naming stuff is the worst thing. What things can I find in Nest.js? Can I go to definition? I cannot go to definition. From working tree at least not. Okay, what do you have? Discovery, exceptions, middleware, factory, router. Yeah, okay, we'll name it router. Yes, update everything, please. And that should be significantly better. So main.ts needs to be saved. Okay, have we got everything proper? I think I could also move this now. Okay, the order seems perfect. Okay, main.ts gets everything from router. And these guys don't need to because they are on the same folder for now. Okay. Good progress. Right there. Renamed. What was the original name? API to router. I've got a sneeze coming up. Oh, that came out loud. Painful. Little as well. Oh. Okay, so we've got two things added. We've got a bit of a folder structure going on. Now, next up would be renaming data access just to get things proper. But we'll worry about that another time, I think. Util's empty for now. So I think I'll delete it so I don't get confused. Router is not empty. Features is empty, but that one will be filled very shortly. Util, I'm not so certain about. I could make a ton of different helper functions for this and that, but I don't know what I'll need. I'm also yeah, okay. Weird. Different names for the same command. Microsoft, please think of your backwards compatibility. In regular CMD, it's CLS, I think, or CLR. I don't exactly know which one. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter in the slightest. Okay, we have router here. Data access, by the way, is also empty. But it's another thing that we need to have, so worry about it another time. Services, API, sure. Okay, so we have router, which I might rename to routers, plural. And then yes. Okay, actually, do I want to have things singular or plural? File names, I would say singular. Folder names can definitely be plural if applicable. Okay, in that case, renamed router to routers. We'll just leave it local for now. I don't think my new desktop PC is going to crash anytime soon, so that will be perfectly fine. And within router, we will add we'll keep this, I think. No, instead of routers, we should call it modules. And then within a module is router stuff. Will that be nice though? I don't know. What is import supposed to do? Optional list of imported modules to export the providers which are required. What even? Imported modules that export the providers which are required in this module. What? So you import modules into this module that export providers, so the services. So you can import services from another module. Is that what it says? Imported modules that export the providers which are required in this module. Optional list. Type any dynamic module, promise, forward reference. Doesn't mean anything to me. Seems advanced. So for now we'll just rename this to No, we'll just keep it as routers. We'll rename these files though. Base control. Do I want to rename things yet? That's also a good question that I have no answer to. Also, main has changed again. What's new? No, you weren't taken along with the rename. I'll just give it the same message so I know it goes together. Okay, perfect. That's decent. .env.config, yeah. Get port here, yeah. So it runs this, then it runs that, which will work just fine. Loads.env, it's not a async function, so this is supposed to be instant. Weird. It must be super efficient then. .env config options, .env config output. Yeah, we don't use the output, so I don't even know what would be the output. Probably just reading the file and then printing that or something. Putting it into an object, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Actually, no, let's not find out. That's not what this is about anyway. Okay, we an hour ahead and we've made such little progress. You think that, but honestly, we've made so much progress in terms of architecting, engineering. Well, software architecture. You engineer the software architecture. I'm telling you, whoever came up with these terms is just gonna need to, I don't know. They probably aren't even alive anymore. Actually, that's not true. They might still be. Given how fast technology has developed, I don't even know when this when these terms, when these definitions, when these words were coined, when they were brought up. I don't know. I genuinely wouldn't know. Okay. Now we'll just keep routers as routers. What do I need to do next? Take a look at the board. Create endpoint. Yes, okay. Configure npm for API. We'll work on that another time. Off stream. Those configuring things should not be that relevant. We'll add a post column. So we'll add a router folder because that makes sense, right? No. Don't add a folder. Yes, add a folder. Column. And then within that we have controller.ts, column controller specifically. And we'll just copy this one for now. Export class column controller. And this class is @controller. Yeah. It has a private read-only column service, which I will need to make later. It has a constructor with column service. And then we just say this dot column service equals column service. Okay, that's all well and dandy. I don't know about why this is giving me a mark. Oh, because it needs to be a function, of course. And I think this also works. So we'll need to create column service next. Copied from this, of course. Add injectable, also function. And this is basically what gives the response. So, what was the thing? Post column data. I'll just put it as any for now. And it just returns void, I think. And we'll log data, because right now I don't even have anything to submit to this yet. So I don't even really know how we're going to test it, to be honest. Okay, post column. We can now import column service. Perfect. And then back to the controller here. Well, that's the wrong button. We say add post column data void. Okay, and it needs typing information. Now, I don't like to use any in any of my TypeScript projects, ever. So as soon as I've got better insight in how Nest.js works, I'll replace it with a more proper type. And there's a lot for me to learn still, and I was just dabbling on ESLint today, prior to the stream. But that doesn't mean that no work gets done. Obviously, tooling is not as important as actually getting more knowledge on the project, how to proceed further. I'm well aware of that, naturally. But for now, this should be okay. Just a temporary thing, really. And then in module, I don't know what to do with these optional list of controllers defined in this module, which have to be instantiated. So I can make submodules here. I believe so. Imports modules that export the providers which are required in this module. I don't know how to use this yet. But I think for now I'll just add column controller and column service. That might be sufficient. Also looks like this is going to be import hell, so I will probably need to add some index.ts files, just exporting imports into a single thing. So that's a bit more straightforward. Also, I would love to get rid of these .js extensions, but given the Node 16 configuration here, which is supposed to be, I don't know, the future or something. Yeah, well, we'll see. However, I also want to make sure to test this, and I'll just create endpoint. It's going to be put on new column on hold. Can I drag this column to, yes, okay, on hold. And it is on hold because there's no place to store data here. And the web client is not designed yet. Okay, that should be fine. I don't want to close this issue. Can I put you on? Can I? Yeah, status is on hold. I suppose that'll be all. Milestones, labels. Oh, Lovely. There's a lot for me to take from these IDs as well. I'm going to be honest about that, but isn't that what everyone does? I'm eventually just going to make my own thing with it though. Just the base is always the same. The way you interact with things is what makes the difference. But in terms of data, in terms of name, well, names don't even matter to be honest. Okay, well, going for get columns next. And because of that, I am going to just copy this line here. We'll add it once we're ready for that. I also prefer to put things in the same order everywhere. This should return a array of columns, which means I will need a models folder and a column.ts file. And a column is just, for now, probably get name. Wait, this can be a one line. This cannot be a one line. Okay, that should do it for now. I'm pretty certain this is okay. By the way, in case you're like, hey, how about this, and then have some validation in the setter. Yeah, that works. But I think I've already got it set up such that I can't set directly to it. And if not now, then I'm pretty sure that it'll be in the future. Wait. No, yeah, see, I can't do it like this. So if there's any validation that needs doing, it should be separate from set name. Which is why the set is not needed at the moment. Only the get. What else does a column have? Well, it would have a list of tickets, of course. I'm getting really sidetracked, don't I? That's fine. Ticket.ts. We'll do the same thing here, I think. Okay, yeah, that looks good. Just give them names, right? Column array. And it needs to be a function. We need to add it to column service as well. Get columns. Column array. I'll just return an empty array for now. We both know that this will end up being removed anyway, right? So this will do. Okay, we are starting to give shape to the whole project now. Okay, we'll put that comment down. Move it to on hold. Probably the order should be reversed of that, but I don't really care. Okay, well, this is a very learning experience here, isn't it? I wonder what I want to do with these things, but we'll see later. Question is, can I start it? Does it still work? Cannot find package errors in process manager. This one. Nest.js. Don't you use tsconfig? I suppose not. But why do... Wait. Package errors in this app process manager. What do you refer to? Errors. Ah. I see. Yeah, okay. How do I fix that? Essentially, errors is supposed to be like a global, right? So, process manager is supposed to be able to read from that. What is the root directory? Is it dist? Can I start this despite the TypeScript error? No, I cannot. Okay. What about this? Just simple for the bridging, basically. Start it again. Now it should work after all. Unless it doesn't, but it looks like it does. And then we can just test it out, localhost, and then /columns. Cannot get /columns. The reason for that is it's named column. Fair enough. Empty array. Okay, looks like it works. And with that, well, I would say decent progress. I would love to change this up, but I'm not entirely certain what I can do in that regard. Maybe that is what tsconfig paths is for. I wanted to end it here, but let's take a no. TSC paths, right? TSC paths, tsconfig paths, that one. I knew it was config. How to install, yes. Save dev, tsconfig paths. Okay. Saving as a development package. I'll need to somehow run it though. I haven't really decided how to yet. Let's see, Nest.js and then tsconfig paths. How Nest.js configures path aliases. Paths. What? tsconfig paths bootstrap? Excuse me? NodeMon? Path alias? What? I tried to configure like Angular, there was an error in Nest.js. Configure the path alias in tsconfig. Okay, this looks unusual, but not necessarily wrong, I suppose. Cannot find source of. Yeah. That's a good one. Do I need to register tsconfig paths? Resolve path ts Nest.js paths. Let's just look at that. Controllers. I kind of want to take a look at one of those examples again. Nest.js docs. Just get me to the documentation. And then, yeah, first step seems fine. Do you have a... Yeah, I don't want any alternatives. Do you have an example of what you get? Fundamentals? No. There should be something somewhere, right? Introduction, first steps, Nest CLI, project name. Okay, platform. Express, yes. Weird, it doesn't seem to say it anywhere. What about this? Generated files. Package JSON. Workspace libraries for more detailed information to help you decide which mode is more suitable. Libraries? Okay. I don't know. Open API. Huh. Recipes? Whoa, there's so much in there. Okay. Tell you what. Nest.js example. Sample. Right? Cats app. Let's make sure it has tsconfig paths. Yes, okay. And then it's just it just starts. Is that all I need? Just tsconfig paths installed? Does it auto detect? That would seem a bit odd, but yeah, see, it doesn't. I knew it. So there's something else I need to set. What about package JSON? Dev dependencies. Do I need to set anything in tsconfig? Just includes things. tsconfig build, exclude, extends. What? Source. App.module main. Use global pipes? What's that? I should probably look at these a bit more another time. For now though, I don't exactly know what to do with tsconfig paths in this project. I doubt it's as simple as saying tsconfig path/register. It probably won't work. Unknown option R. Yeah, see? I knew it. Okay, so tsconfig path doesn't work for now. We'll have to deal with this. Which is not too bad. It's just not my preference. In which case, I'm also going to not commit the installation of tsconfig paths yet. Remove it from everything. I don't know why package lock doesn't get updated. Maybe I should delete it. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Okay. Column tickets. The only thing that doesn't seem to fit here is process manager. Fixed. Wait, no. Yeah, no, not yet, not yet. First the rest, literally everything else. Okay, add it all. Let's see, that's correct, that's correct. Module, column, yes. These two things have been added, so added post and get columns. Fixed building. Okay. Just to verify everything works, one last check. And it runs. And we can get our array. That's the wrong URL, my apologies. Okay, localhost and column singular. Okay. Looks perfect. I think with that, that's probably the end. Which means we're just running one last command, adding a small version increase, going from version to this pin entry. That was terrifying. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.